If you live in the city of Silvergate in Montana or Cody in Wyoming, you live on top of a massive landslide deposit. This ancient landslide is no longer active as it originated more than 45 million years ago. It was so massive that it covered an area slightly smaller than the entire state of Rhode Island in less than 25 minutes from its onset and up to 1.5 miles thick of debris. Adding to this, the landslide was so energetic that it produced a highly unusual rock type known as pseudotachylite. Pseudotachylite is a rock type often associated with incredibly voluminous landslide events which creates so much friction that they melt some of the involved rock, turning it into a sort of glass. Although the fact that this mega landslide occurred, known as the Heart Mountain landslide, is well known by geologists today, it was not a well-known fact during the late 19th century. That was until local geologists noted how strange Heart Mountain proper in Wyoming was. Although it doesn't look like much, the white-colored mountain referred to as Heart Mountain was highly unusual, which confused scientists at the time, and this is why. In the field of geology, there's something known as the law of superposition, which essentially means that in a distribution of rocks, the oldest rocks are found at the bottom of a vertical column of rock, while the youngest rocks are found on top. Yet, at Heart Mountain, several layers of rock which are 470 to 323 million years old not only jet out from the ground, but also overlie a much younger 68 million year old rock layer. The reason for this is that Heart Mountain is not where it originated, as in an incredibly brief time span the entire mountain moved 31 miles or 50 kilometers from its original location far to the northwest. There, you can see layers of the white rock unit which Heart Mountain broke away from via an exposure of the same rock unit at Hunter Peak. And it was not just Heart Mountain which moved during this event. Instead, in what was one of the planet's largest known mega landslides to ever occur, a several hundred square mile area moved as a massive block of material being pulverized along the way, reaching up to 31 miles distant from where the mega landslide began in a catastrophic event which lasted approximately 20 minutes and 50 seconds to complete. So, why did this massive landslide, likely involving 4,000 cubic kilometers of material, occur 48 million years ago in the first place? Approximately 48 million years ago, northeastern Wyoming was a site of abundant volcanism unrelated to the Yellowstone hotspot. At the time, there were at least two more than 10-mile wide gray stratovolcanoes present which erupted both in explosive and effusive manners. Known as the Crandall and Sunlight volcanoes, these were likely once the size of the modern-day Mount Adams, if not larger. Today, we can see remnants of how large these volcanoes were by the radiating igneous dikes which spread out from their center. While both of these long-extinct volcanoes could be the point source for the landslide, I am leaning towards the Crandall volcano being the source. At certain volcanoes, a long-term body of magma at shallow depths can weaken the slope of a mountain due to hydrothermal alteration, which often turns the volcano shades of red and yellow. These slopes can then all at once collapse, often being triggered by a powerful phreatic eruption due to the rapid expansion of groundwater to steam heated by magma. This expansion can produce a horizontal component to motion, triggering a catastrophic landslide like seen at the Papandayan volcano in 1772 or the Bandai volcano in 1888. A similar event is thus likely to have occurred 48 million years ago, so how did a several square mile landslide turn into a several hundred square mile landslide? The answer is the carbonate rocks which the younger volcanic rocks sat upon. As the slide occurred, so much friction was generated that the underlying limestone and dolomite partially melted, which released carbon dioxide gas. The release of this gas then further propelled the landslide, allowing it to expand and repeating the process in a positive feedback loop. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. Additionally, I would like to thank PM for becoming a new patron on this channel's Patreon page.